Hello again, everyone. It's Mr. R. We're going to start right into the next day. This would have been day 8, and pretty much we're going to talk about economics, inflation, taxes, things like that. So, you got $500. Is that a big amount of money to you? Is it enough to buy a video game console, new cell phone? Is it a large amount of money or not? And why? So that's your warm-up. It's $500, a lot of money, and why? Well, in some people, $500 is a large amount of money. For some folks, that could be a couple of months worth of groceries. It could be a used cell phone or an inexpensive cell phone if you really don't have the money. So it depends on where you are in the economic status, whether or not that seems like a large amount of money to you or not. To me, $500 is a decent chunk of change. I can do a lot with $500. So it all depends on your perspective or what you're trying to buy when you have $500. If you're trying to buy something that costs $10,000, then $500 is probably not that much money. But it's all perspective. So keep that in mind while we're going through this. Okay, let's talk about inflation. Now, inflation is when there's an overall increase in the price of goods and services over a period of time. For example, if a store increases its price for video games, but there's another store that offers the same game at a lower price, that's not inflation. However, if all stores that carry video games increase their prices, that is considered a general increase in the average price, and that's classified as inflation. Next, I want you to do is complete the activity sheet time travel inflation style. It only take about 10 or 15 minutes. So take 10 or 15 minutes, do the activity sheet that's also loaded here in the It's Learning, and that should take you 10 or 15 minutes, and then pause here, or you can do it at the end. It's up to you, but you can pause it here, do that, and then come back to the next slide. Or like I said, you can do it at the end. That's fine too. Whatever suits you best, but make sure that you do all the work, folks. A good indicator just for you guys about inflation is generally gas prices, milk prices, things that everybody consumes on a regular basis. If the price of gas or milk goes up everywhere, that is definitely inflation. So something like that is a good indicator. Okay, so think about how inflation will affect your life. What does it mean that any money you have now will have less purchasing power in the future? So for example, you make a certain amount of money right now, say you make $500 a week. A year from now, with that $500 a week, still travel as far? Will you still be able to stretch it as far as you do now? How will inflation affect your spending or your saving? And while we can't predict exactly how much inflation will rise in the future, historically it's 2 to 3% a year. Inflation is generally 2 to 3% a year. Right now we're not experiencing that because we're in a certain situation that we're in. Prices are going down, like gas is way down. The demand is down, so the price is lower. This is a special circumstance that we're dealing with right now with the virus and everything, so it's not a typical economic trend. This is very unusual for us. Okay, this is the typical economic trend. Take a look. I mean, there's some peaks and valleys. At 2010, we were coming out of a recession. 2011, we were doing great. All right. Prices were going up. That means the economy is doing well. All right. That's anytime the prices go up, the economy is doing well. As you can see, it trended and then dropped down. 2015 had a little bit of a dip. 17 and 18, we were doing great. 19 and then 20. Now this is the prediction for 20 through 24. It's going to look different than this, folks, because of what's happening right now. But this is a general prediction. They predict it to level out for a while, and then it'll rise or fall. Unfortunately, it's probably going to fall or rise drastically between now and next year because of where we are in the world with the economics, etc. But generally, inflation goes up and down for a while, then it levels for a long period of time, then it goes up and down. All right, little math problem for you. You get $1,000 as a gift. You can use it on expenses when you go to college. Assume that a 3% yearly inflation rate. What will the gift be worth in today's dollars 5 years from now? So 3% a year, 5 years from now. How much is that $1,000 worth? Do the math. I'll wait. You got a calculator handy? $1,000, 5 years at 3%. First, you want to find out what 3% at times 5 years is of $1,000. All right. All right, so $858.73 in today's dollars. So that's what the amount of money will be worth in 5 years. 5 years at $1,000 will only be worth $858. So were these numbers a surprise to you? Tell me why or why not. All right, besides inflation and recession, things like that, can you think of any other financial force that may affect your potential wealth? Taxes. Taxes can affect your wealth. The more you make, the more you pay. It is a fact that people that make more money pay more taxes. There's no argument. That's a true fact. So we're going to talk a little terminology and about taxes and about how we do taxes and things like that. Income tax is a percentage of your income that is paid to the federal and state government. Now it says some state governments because there are states that do not have state income tax. State income tax is the amount of money that the state charges you on your income. That's not the same as sales tax. Sales tax is something different. Sales tax is a charge on items that you buy, and you pay state or local government. So, and not all states have sales tax. Delaware, right next door to us, doesn't have sales tax. Other common taxes include property tax, Social Security, Medicare. These are all things we talked about that show up on your pay stub. Remember in the first unit when we were talking about the pay stubs, this is stuff that's on your pay stub. Medicare, Social Security. These are a lot of questions were being asked about this, so I'm sure you guys remember. Most taxes are used to invest money back into federal, state, and local programs and government efforts. Example, taxes help pay for road repairs. Taxes pay for schools. In a lot of states, the local school tax is separate than your actual income tax, but it is part of it. So complete the tax activity. That activity should be in the It's Learning documents that we sent. So it should be posted here in It's Learning. That's part of the additional documents. All right, we're going to go through real quickly because there's not a lot of time that we have on these videos. But quickly, we're going to just show you how to do a 1040 EZ form or a 1040 form. This is what the federal income tax form is for. And Maryland income tax, you have to go on to maryland.gov and get the tax form for the Maryland state income tax. And if you need a federal income tax form, you can go to IRS, Internal Revenue Service, .gov and get a 1040. These are free forms that you can get. But in order to fill it out, you got to go through a service like TaxAct or TurboTax or somebody like that. On the Maryland site, you can actually file the Maryland State Income Tax form online, right on the Maryland site. And it's pretty good. We use it all the time, so it's pretty handy. And they do a good job with it. And you get your return pretty quick if you get a return. If you have to pay, then you have a certain amount of time to pay. But anyway, those two sites, irs.gov and Maryland.gov, two places you need to go for tax information. Okay, the easy form, 1040 Easy. It's the easiest form to use. If your income's less than $100,000 a year and you don't claim any dependents, or you don't have itemizations like mortgage or interest-bearing accounts or anything like that, and you are going to file as single or married, filing jointly, you can use a 1040 Easy. Most high school and college students fall into this category. So here's the step-by-step. Step 1, you fill in your information. Step 2 is you fill in your income. I'm not going to read it to you word for word because, like I said, there's not a lot of time on these slides, but I have the steps all written out for you. There's step 3. Tells you what line to put what information. Step 4 as well. And then the final steps. Really simple, right? And here's a sample completed form that I put on here for you. So you just click on that. And here's your sample completed form. So Mr. Willie B. Slick and his wife Gonna B. Slick. This is their form. There's their kids' information because they have dependents. Here's the income, line 1. Right, all the way through. Tells you how to do the whole thing. All right, I gave you the instructions. There's the form to fill out. Look how easy it is, right? It's 2 pages, front and back. Boom, boom. You're done. All right, down the end, down here, you file. If somebody does it for you, they sign here, you sign here, send it to the IRS, you're done. Okay, I know that was very quick, and I'm sorry about that. There's only a certain amount of time on here, but if you want to go through this in detail, you can rewind it, you can pause it, you can go on to irs.gov, you can go on to maryland.gov, you can look at how it is, how you file a tax return, get the information online. If you really need to file your tax return, they'll walk you through it step by step. There's a lot of easy to follow instructions online, so don't be overwhelmed by it. If you have to file taxes, just make sure you do file them. Now, most full-time students, when they file taxes, as long as you paid taxes, you'll get it all back. Now, if you didn't pay any taxes, you're not going to get anything back. So understand that. If you didn't pay taxes, you don't get a tax return. That's one of the things that a lot of people get confused about. How come I didn't get a tax return? Well, you didn't pay anything because you filed as exempt. You didn't have anything taken out. So make sure that you're actually paying the taxes in order to get them back. All right. And if you have any questions on any of this, email myself, email Ms. Sauer. I'll be glad to help you one-on-one. Walk through these. I can give you more detail. I know this is kind of an overview, but I tried to break it down, step-by-step instructions, how to file, etc. I hope you guys are doing well, and keep up all your classwork, not just your math. And have a good day. I'll see you again soon.